being in tune with the subtleness of the vibrations and energy, and through the conscious interpretation with our emotions, we come to the wholeness of who we are.
We liked your words. Conscious interpretation of emotions, beginning to notice the correlation between what I'm thinking and feeling and how things are turning out. So you're teaching yourself what these emotions mean, which means you're teaching yourself whether you're under the influence of your inner being or whether you're under the influence of something else. Mm-hmm. Yes.
And I've heard you say when we're in the state of the wholeness of who we are, that we're no different than you. And I've heard when you talked about how Jesus performed miracles, it's because he saw people for the wholeness of who they are. He didn't see the disease. He saw the perfection.
In that moment, he allowed who he really is to be the dominant influence of him. That inner world, that source energy, that God force knew the wellness. He didn't allow his human self to see the illness. So he didn't let seeing the illness influence what he knew about the wellness. And so his influence dominated the moment, and only wellness could exist in that vibration.
So is it truly possible for us to attain that state of seeing ourselves in such a state of wholeness to where we can heal ourselves, or to see other people
Yes.
in that state of wholeness to
Yes.
where we could heal them?
Yes, especially yourself and them too, but what they think and what they want is a part of that co-creation. So you cannot heal someone against their will, either their physical intentions or their non-physical intentions. Sometimes it's their deliberate, while sometimes unconscious, way of transitioning.
So if someone else is not in a state of wholeness, or if they don't believe, then they can't be healed?
Someone who just doesn't believe could be, because they could be distracted from that disbelief. So you have the power to influence. Jesus said, go forth and tell no one, because he knew that it was a temporary healing if they went back and had the same conversations that they were accustomed to having. Everyone has done all of their creating through their step one experiences, and so they've put what they really want into their vortex. And so what you have the power to do as a physical human who can tap into source energy anytime you decide to, you have the power to assist them in getting what they want that's in their vortex. You have the power to help them create what they want. You don't have the power to help them create what you want them to want. Does that make sense? Because they've created their vortex, and your power of influence is just calling them to their vortex. That's what we all have that we can give one another, is an understanding of how to get out of your own way and allow yourself to receive what life has caused you to ask for. And it is also helpful to know that you put a whole lot of stuff in your vortex on your way into this physical body. You've added a lot to it since you got here, but there are lots of intentions from the larger part of who you are is in your vortex.
So is it truly possible to live every day to where you're aware and following the path multiple times throughout the day of the sort of incidences, to be following those paths? Like just to have that awareness through the day that, you know, I should go here, I'd talk to this person.
Yes. And we want to clarify it, or maybe qualify it a little bit like this. So life causes you to know what you don't want and know what you do want. We've talked about that. You've got that. So this vibrational reality exists, and your inner being is there, knows it, is it, oozes it, radiates it, offers the influence to you, which you might be influenced by it and you might not, depending upon what you've decided to do with your thoughts today. But let's say you're doing what you say you want to do, you're appreciating, you're praising, you're looking for positive aspects, you're meditating, and so you have accomplished that often connection. So you've done step one, source has done step two, and now you're in a state of allowing, so you're doing step three. And you do it so often, which speaks to your question, that you have mastered it. Step four is consciously and deliberately focused your thoughts into a way that is mostly conducive to your alignment. But then the best step is step five. That's where you're back in contrast and you're not mad at yourself, because you understand that the contrast is the clarifying mechanism for the evolution of who you are. So when you say, in every moment of every day, can I be in the receiving mode? No, because sometimes you're going to be doing some step one work. But you can get so good at understanding how it all fits that you stop beating up on yourself when you're having a step one moment, and instead you understand, as so many people have sat here and said to us today, and accurately said it about themselves because it was so, not been upset. In other words, loving themselves anyway. That's really the key to everything. It's like that important question that we answered a little bit ago. What's the most significant thing that you could encourage us to do? And we say, be nice to yourself. And that really is what step 5 is. It's standing right in the middle of some big old hairy contrast and seeing it for what it is, opportunity for expansion, and therefore a good thing.